6:42, when I'm not ignoring his insulting emails. That's what friends are for. Mark DeCarlo and I spend time on the radio together. I know you miss me as much as I miss you, Captain Fun.
I sure do, Steve. How was your wedding?
Well, it wasn't my wedding, as you know.
I was in Chicago all last week shooting the fourth season of Taste of America.
Right.
I went knocking on the window on Michigan Avenue there. No, Steve, just some other monkey sitting in that chair.
That's nice. So we're all monkeys? Is that your story?
Not all. No, Ron Santo's a god.
Right. No, of course he is. I know you're getting a little older, but how many times do you have to be told that I was going to be gone all weekend, and you still come up knocking on the window like a moron?
I thought you were just kidding me. I thought, you're a funny guy. You make with the jokes. I thought maybe that was your little bit, that you were going to say you were gone,
right,
and then I'd come by the studio and you'd be there.
That was a little audio pat on the head from Mark DeCarlo, host of Taste of America on the Travel Channel, which airs the original episodes on Tuesday nights and then repeats every 15 minutes for the next 7 days until the next original episode. How's this latest?
You remember the movie The Manchurian Candidate where they use mind control and audio torture to subjugate people? That's what our show is. You keep watching it until
right.
you just get up and go and get yourself a hamburger.
Right. Now, what can we look forward to in the remaining episodes of this season?
Well, Steve, I've been pitching Italian beef sandwiches for 4 years, and we finally came to Chicago last weekend. We went over to Scala's, and then we went over to Al's Beef on Taylor Street.
Right.
And I had the best Italian beef sandwich I've ever had in my life.
What's the key to a great Italian beef?
It's the meat, the way they season it, and then the bread. They dunk the bread in the au jus, they call it, because as you know, the au jus, they run the beef business, and it just makes the sandwich delicious.
You're just really wrong. Leslie is waving you off, like a catcher getting waved off by a pitcher. You think the key to a beef sandwich, Leslie, is what?
Is not wet.
Yeah, not wet.
Not wet.
No,
it's
wrong.
all about the beef and the peppers.
So the beef,
hot jardinere, yeah.
So the beef, the peppers, and a bun, a dry bun, not a bun that's been out in a rainstorm.
No, you know what you need?
I'm asking Leslie.
Not too dry.
I'm
too dry.
asking Leslie. Control
the meat
yourself.
Is juicy. It'll get juicy. Otherwise, it just gets acky, like somebody already put it in their mouth and then put it back on your plate.
Ooh, that's appetizing. After we've heard of salmonella cases by a bunch of people at the salmonella booth at Taste of Chicago.
Actually, salmonella is one of the major guys that cooks the meat. Uncle Sal. They call him Uncle Sal.
Actually, it's a very good point. Our own Andrea Darlis got sick at Taste of Chicago last week. In all the shows you've done for Taste of America on the Travel Channel with original episodes airing Tuesday night, blah, 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 have you ever gotten sick?
No, because if it's something smells funky or doesn't look appetizing, like chitlins, which are hog intestines, or fish ice cream, which is Crisco sugar and tuna fish.
Yeah, Leslie and I were in a band called the Chitlins.
You were great, by the way.
Yeah,
Best tambourine man in Mississippi.
Well, I appreciate it.
I make my cameraman eat it.
So has the cameraman ever gotten ill?
Oh, we've been through 3 of them.
Well, that happens. It's show business.
They get ill, and we're in the middle of nowhere, and it's like war, man. You leave them. You just take the camera, you just leave them twitching on the side of the road, and we get somebody else in the next city.
I believe Chicago is one of the great food cities in America. Give me 2 or 3 others that are can't misses.
Wow. Well, New Orleans would be and San Francisco. But I mean, you want to talk?
San Francisco is overrated. San Francisco.
Well, then you got to go to New York just because of sheer size. But if you want, I just was at the trip. I was in Chicago, then I went to New Orleans. I ate more in that week period. You can't have a bad meal in New Orleans. It's not possible. Unless you eat a Lucky Dog on Bourbon Street.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. New Orleans is fantastic. But San Francisco, I'm tired of hearing everybody go, San Francisco, great. Let me tell you something. I went to Fisherman's Wharf last time I was in San Francisco, 5-star seafood restaurant. Guy comes out with a Red Lobster paper hat. So that's all I'm saying.
Well, Steve, that's where the tourists go. They go to Fisherman's Wharf. Why didn't you call me? You break my heart. You go to San Francisco and you don't call your buddy Mark and say, Mark, where should I go here in San Francisco? You go to the Denny's at the wharf?
No, they were busy. All right, but give me one that people don't think of because, New Orleans, we could figure that out. Chicago, New York. Give me one that's off the beaten path.
Miami has a lot of great Cuban food, a lot of Caribbean stuff, a lot of jerk chicken all mixed in there. It's a very vibrant, multicultural city, and The way we pick a place when we're on the road, where we go to eat at night when we're done working, we literally walk down Restaurant Row, and I stick my nose in the door and I take a big sniff. And the place that smells the best to me is where we eat.
Now, if somebody's wearing Axe body spray, does that tend to throw things off?
Oh, it drives me crazy.
Right. How about Vegas? Vegas guy, I know it's all shipped
there's
in.
Lots of great restaurants in Vegas.
Yeah?
Yeah. And there's a guy called Stryker, VIP. He's the concierge to the stars.
Yeah.
He's got a deal where you can go up in a helicopter and you can eat caviar and champagne as you're zipping down the strip in the middle of the night in a helicopter, just you and your lucky, lucky lady.
You know, it's a great little town with great restaurants is Charleston, South Carolina.
It is. I've been there. We had the Benny wafers there. They were yummy, yum, yum. You know what, though, Steve? Here's a fun. Wherever we go, I usually travel with three people: a producer and a cameraman, an audio person. We go out and we have dinner at night, and then we play a fun little game that I'd like to introduce to your listener.
What's it called? The listener. That's very funny. The ratings, by the way, are never better.
Well, I believe it.
Yeah.
You're in a 50,000-watt soapbox, and you're an engaging and charming man when you decide to show up for work. The game is called Credit Card Roulette.
All right, how's this work?
Well, the bill comes to the table at the end of the meal. Then everyone at the meal takes out their credit card. We stash it inside a separate napkin. We mix them up so the waiter can't tell whose credit card is where. Then the waiter picks one of the napkins, takes it away. We don't move. Everyone at the table is waiting. Who's going to pay the $300 bill? Oh, my goodness.
Right.
If it's not me, then they come back, and then as big a voice as they possibly can, they announce the winner.
And how many times does it end up being you?
I lost twice in Chicago.
Well, but honestly, why would you make the audio guy who's making like $12,000 a year, and the other guy, your hair guy or whoever you travel with, or Mr. Shippy?
He's a facialist.
The other guy who makes $13,500. Why? You're the big shot TV star. You ought to be picking up the tab everywhere.
You know why I do that, Steve? It keeps them in their place. That's why. Keeps them in there. It keeps my boot on their throat so that they know which side of the boat their bread is buttered on. That's why I do it. And if you treated Rick a little bit more like that, maybe you'd be on afternoon drive in a big city. Oh, wait a minute.
That's my friend Mark DeCarlo, who's an idiot. He hosts Travel Channel's Mark DeCarlo's Taste of America every Tuesday night on the Travel Channel. And he's very funny. But I wouldn't admit that unless he were on hold talking to someone at this point.